What's going on, fellow Predator fans? This is Solid Dave Snake, bringing you guys a review on the newly released Neca Predator Series 13 Kenner Tribute line. And in this review, we're going to take a look at Renegade Predator with his original 1993 Kenner counterpart. So I was really excited for this line of Predator action figures because I had these original Kenner Predators when I was a kid and was obviously really fond of them because I still have them in excellent condition today. And this was the one out of this series that I was looking forward to most because this Renegade Predator was the very first Kenner Predator ever released. And it was released in a 2-pack with an Alien, because it was kind of going off of that Aliens Kenner line where they were tying in the Alien vs. Predator universe and expanding on it in their own Kenner way. And all the characters were unique. They were all Kenner design. They weren't based off of anything from the comic books or anything from the movies. And they had some really original designs, but this is the one that I was looking forward to most in this series. And we will compare everything between these two, what Neca took off of Kenner's original version, from looks, paint, accessories, just an overall comparison. And we'll start it off with the accessories, and that's one of the things that I think they really nailed with this Kenner action figure. They did a great job representing the original accessories. And the most important one to me, because it's so unique with Predators, is this laser blaster. Predators don't normally have handguns. And actually, I think this might have been the first time I'd really seen this. And let me get a up-close look here for you and compare the two. And the probably most noticeable difference between these two that you can tell right off the bat is the color scheme between the two, where the original is pure brown. The new one is a lot better in that it is actually having different shades of silver and grays and even little reds in there on the buttons. So a lot more unique of a color scheme. It has the overall basic shape of the first one, but is obviously a lot more detailed. There's little sculpted detail all through this new one. And I really like the top of it. Kind of has that look of some of the Predator's armor, or even its metapack. And of course they outdid themselves, even adding a trigger guard and adding on a lot of bells and whistles down here around this entire guard and foregrip area. So really neat accessory with the original Kenner Predator, and they made it even cooler with this Neca tribute. Set those aside and then take a look at his staff, which is again very unique, and it fits in his hand. He holds it kind of loosely, but it's kind of tough to get in there. There we go. And as you can see on the old Kenner Predator, you can actually store that on the back, which is one tiny fault I have with the new Predator. Very minuscule complaint, but I would have liked to have seen a similar thing done with the new Predator, because you cannot plug this onto his back. It would have been nice to be able to do that. But once again, Neca stuck with the overall look. The same exact kind of angles and look to this spear, only a lot more detailed. Of course, it has two grips, just like that original one, right here on the main part, and then up where the big part of the blade is. Maybe I'll hold them this way so you can see how all the angles are similar. And of course, the old one was all brown. But I really wish this one had the new one had a peg on the back of the staff to go into a hole on his back. It would have been nice to have been able to store it as well. So really cool two accessories. Neca did a great job recreating those old accessories. And you could almost count the plasma caster on his back as another accessory too. Where on the old one, it does not come off. all the Predators in the Neca franchise, they come off and is a totally separate piece. And of course, there's nothing new here. It's just like the other plasma casters that have come in previous Predator lines, only it's got more of a darker silver paint scheme going on with it. And my one big complaint about this Neca's version of this Predator is that it does not have a removable mask. That was one neat thing about the old Kenner Predators, is that you could actually remove their masks. And I'll give you a quick look at this. So that would have been nice, but I can kind of understand Neca skimping a little bit on this and making his face mask not removable, because a lot of the original Predator figures their masks are not removable, and it would have taken a lot more retooling to do this. But one thing I find neat about these two masks is, if you saw that right here at the top of the old Kenner mask, there is a dent in it, and it's actually sculpted in there, and they try to represent that with the new one. You can see the little silver blast mark up here. It's not actually sculpted in there, but I think it's neat that they try to represent that same look as the old Kenner Predator. So that's all the accessories, and now let's take a look at the overall paint scheme between these two. And the old one had a lot lighter green of a tone. You could almost not even make out that it's actually green, where the new one is lighter green here in the middle, almost a yellow, and goes out to darker green and is really dark green on his back, whereas this one is almost gray on the back. So the color scheme does differ a little bit, but I really like how the Neca's color scheme pops. And the hair on the back, the dreads, they are black strands, but the actual beads are brown on the old one and silver on the new one. But it's like that with the armor as well. I was really kind of thinking that they would have went with this brown armor, but they went with a more darker silver, which I find odd. So it does differ a good bit, but when they're standing side by side, they still look eerie similar. They really match up well, although those color schemes are different. And I would have to say that I like the silver better. It just kind of goes with his colors overall a little better, and really pops. I like how it transitions from that lighter tone of almost yellow to a darker green. I think that looks pretty good. And they did try to keep, if you look on the old Kenner Predator, he has this big black mark going down with almost black freckles on the outside. And they try to represent that a little bit with the new one, having this dark patch going down. However, he does not necessarily have any of the black dots going on outside, the freckle look. And yeah, that'll cover the colors. I really can't notice any big differences between the two besides that, except for on the back of the tunic. On the old Kenner Predator, it's more of a red color, where the Neca is straight up brown. And this Predator has a lot more armor on the back, so he looks all brown on the back. You really can't see what his skin tone is on the middle part of his back. However, it all looks like it's the same tone of gray back here. So, color-wise, I really like this old Kenner Predator, but I think the changes on the new Neca are really nice. However, it is not an exact representation of the same exact colors on this old Predator. Now, overall look-wise, this old Kenner Predator was the closest one to looking like the Predator out of the movies. Out of all the Kenner Predators done, this one resembled the Jungle Hunter the most. So it's fitting that the Neca Predator would use the Jungle Hunter mold. And you can tell that's what they use. A lot of the armature is exactly the same. The mask and head sculpt overall are exactly the same. And it works. It looks just like that old Kenner Predator. And be wary. I noticed one thing right now that must have just happened on my blade here. Is a little bent up on this side. I just now noticed it, almost like it's flipped. That's a little weird. That must just be on mine. But this old Kenner Predator didn't even have the wrist blade attachments. However, they did make a variant that was a mail order of this Predator in clear, like he was cloaked. All his plastic was clear, and he actually had wrist gauntlets you could put on him. However, they didn't look like the normal Predator wrist gauntlets. They were huge and oversized. And yeah, they match up everywhere, even having the little computer panel on the side of both. The leg armor is exactly the same, having these side pieces of armor and the gauntlets down below. However, the old Kenner Predator does not have these little sandal pieces on the feet that the Kenner Predator has. They almost should have went with the route of the cracked tusk and given him these bare feet that the cracked tusks have. And the old original cracked tusk, let me pull him up. I find this kind of funny. He does have the little sandal pieces. So they should have switched feet for these two Neca Predators. I found that funny and thought I should point that out. So, alright guys, this is a incredible Neca Predator. If you were a fan of these old Kenner Predators like me and even still have them, I would say this is a must pick up. Picking up this new Neca Renegade. I thought they did a great job. A lot of these Predator Neca fans aren't necessarily too thrilled with this Kenner tribute line, just because they aren't as old as some of us collectors, I guess. Where when we were kids, we used to have these, and some people just really could care less about them. But for the true old school Predator fans that used to have these Kenner Predators, I think it's great Neca's doing this, and kudos from me. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I will be doing the cracked tusk Predator comparison in my next video. So I'll catch you then, guys. Later.